break this down into 4 different segments. And you'll have to excuse my busy PowerPoints. Usually I would have bullets, but I thought I could give you my PowerPoints and then you get the tips and tricks that are in there. And I thought it just would be way more useful in a mentor session like this. So I broke it into 4 different sections: market validation, technology, mobile strategy, the team, which they talked about before, which was very interesting, and launching our technology. Actually, I should say, my launch here, the reason I look exhausted today is not because of my 4 children under 8, it's because we launched at 5:30 a.m. this morning, so I didn't sleep last night. This is my 24-hour round. And I didn't want to not come today because I feel like it's my way of giving back to the community to mentor other women in this region. So validation, let me go back to my structure. So my lessons learned break into 4 different areas: starting a tech company and not being a developer in that tech company. And the first thing is, if you have an idea, please go and validate that idea before you spend any money. This is my biggest tip. Analyze your market, understand your audience. I did about a year's worth of research while I worked at SAP. I did questionnaires, I asked different questions, I built a website. I know this can be done in less time because I'm part of Lean Launch Lab and we did a project a while ago that took about a week. My first hire, if I was doing this again, last time I hired a developer first, if I was doing this again, my first hire would be a creative director or a creative designer, or my first contractor would be somebody creative. And the reason I say this, rather than hiring a developer first of all, is because I would have them build the website and launch the website without having any product behind it. I would take that product to market using a tool like LaunchDrop and MailChimp, and I would validate that people will really sign up and pay for my product and give me their email address. Just having somebody sign up into your system is a huge validation that your idea is a good idea and you can move forward with it. The next thing I would do once I used the system, have a website and launch the website, is I would build the wireframes. We right now use, actually you can see the list of tools here, but we use Balsamiq, Photoshop and Visual Studio. I would build the HTML and I would user test. So we right now use a site called usertesting.com. I don't know who's heard of that. It's $30 a test around. And you literally can put your HTML through user testing, get feedback, look at the user experience and see how well your site would perform before you even invest in any development. But the biggest thing that you need to think about with a tech startup is cash is king. So you need to make sure when you're going to invest in the development cycle, you're investing in the right things and you don't have to revisit them. One of our tips and tricks is we use Twitter Bootstrap CSS. I know there's some developers in the audience that saves us a lot of time and effort. And then my biggest tip here before you start with development is write the detailed documentation. Understand what does the screen look like, what does the field look like, how will that screen perform, and then prioritize it. We use something called Pivotal Tracker, or we did use Pivotal Tracker, to help us prioritize the different sprints. Understand what your scope is for each development sprint, and make sure you stick to it. Every time you go out of scope, your development costs just escalate a humongous amount, and it's very difficult to bring it back in line. So those would be my biggest tips before you start development, is validate your market, look at your business model, and make sure you understand that you can make money from this. Have a HTML, user test it, and make sure you've got detailed documentation and it's prioritized to develop.